there and welcome to the first Music Techniques video. I thought I'd show you a little bit of playing on slide guitar today. So this is a dobro that I've been using for a little while. You can use any high-strung acoustic guitar, or particularly old broken guitars are pretty good for this if you put some big old strings on them. This one I've adapted, which is quite scary, to put an active Fishman pickup on the biscuit. This is a biscuit resonated guitar, so the strings sit on a biscuit and it moves the sound up and down and projects the sound. But that's going through some effects that I'll show you in a moment. First of all, you should try with retuning the guitar. So there's a couple of different tunings. You can go for low string tunings or high string tunings. Today we're going to try open G first of all. So tune the bottom E down to a D. So we've tuned down the bottom string to a D, which matches this fourth string. We tune the fifth string, this one here, down to a G, which matches this string. And we get our third, which is the B here. That one will stay as a D, that one stays as a B. And we tune the top string, E down to D. So we get D, G, D, G, B, D. A lot of repeated notes to make up your G chord triad, which sounds like this. Now, this is not only just good for slide, but it's quite good for playing in a lot of folk and country styles as well, and you can find a lot of interesting little melodic and chord passages around that. Now, the slide, you can get three different sorts. You can get pipes. They could be brass, or this is a chrome-plated brass one. It's quite a heavy one. Obviously, it's a good idea to match them to fit your fingers. They should go on the little finger, but I tend to use it on my third finger. If you're going to be doing a lot of chord voicing and sliding, then that's best, but this is a heavy one, so it's best to support it on the third finger. This one can go on your little finger. That one's a handmade ceramic one, which will fit on the little finger. It's a bit lighter. I find the ceramic one, the lighter ones are probably better on electric. The glass ones are really good on electric, but they tend to smash, which is what happened to mine. Find one that suits you. You can also use things like pens, knives, but be careful with that. Metal lighters, things like that. You need to have your slide parallel with the frets, not at an angle, otherwise your intonation is going to go. You need to place it so that it's just making contact, not pressing down at all, or the intonation will go. You can play with your knife or your lighter in the laptop position if you want to. You can play some styles open like this, and you get a lot of like string noise. So the Robbie McIntosh method is to dampen behind the slide with your fingers, and also with the right hand to dampen here so that you get a single note. And you can add vibrato by moving it backwards and forwards, but practice getting clean notes first of all. There are licks around the positions. This is open G, and this is your octave G here. Those lower auxiliary notes. Will give you those licks. You've got this kind of minor third thing here up on the third fret, which gives it a real blues sound. Third fret. And then the fifth fret gives you your C chord. So between the fifth and the third. Look at the diagrams to find the positions where you can find the notes that you need for your blues scale. There's your third, and then all the way up to the seventh fret for the D chord. Back down to the fifth. Okay. You can also play behind the slide like this, so we can get a minor chord. By pushing down that note there, it's not actually making contact. It's quite a tricky technique. of tricky. But let me play you a little something in G. Okay, so that's in G. Okay, so we're in D now. So we've got D, A, drop down the B to the A, F sharp, D, A, D. This one's great as well because it's really nice for finding unusual chord shapes. So it's not just for blues, you can get some nice kind of folk shapes as well. It does take a little bit of adjustment, and dadgad is sometimes good for more chord shapes, but if you're really wanting to play melodic stuff, this is pretty good. So open D. You can hit the low D as well, which gives you quite a different sound. It's a bit lower. To get E, of course, we can then put that on there. If you don't want to tune up to E, open E, then this is a better way of getting it in some ways, depending on how your guitar's strung. It's real Muddy Waters kind of thing. Whereas Robert Johnson was often in A. This guitar is something I made up from sort of spruce top. I think it's got maple back and sides, but it's got an unusual balsa bracing, so it's very light, very resonant. It's got a bit of acoustic sound, but it sounds great with the magnetic pickup. It's also got a piezo in there, and you can use it in stereo here. But it's got a very, very high action, so it's really set up for. And because it's a little bit of a kind of like an old kind of planky guitar, these old kind of like high-strung guitars, even really cheap ones, will sound really quite good for slide. So find an old cheap guitar, string it up with some slightly heavier strings, let the guitar go slightly banana-y, and it might be pretty good for slide. That worked for Jack White, might work for you. Okay, looking at the pedal setup that we've got here with the slide train, we've got a trace Elliott here, which is just adding a bit of shaping. It can EQ things out. Sometimes you want things a little bit middly for slide guitar playing. We've got a compressor here. You want quite heavy compression because you get a lot of slide noise and clacks and things, and you also want to get a bit of sustain as you're sliding up the guitar. So there's a fair bit of compression on here and a bit of level. A lot of slide players will use a famous sound is an 1176, which is two decent valve compressors pushed against each other, and there's a lovely pedal called a slide train, but it's rather expensive, which is two pedals pushed together. This is just a cheap compressor. Could even chain that with another compressor. Got a little bit delay here for a little bit of ambience, and we've got the House of Fame TC Electronic, which you can load your own preset reverbs on, your favourite reverb. So it's just a bit of reverb, delay, and most importantly compression, perhaps a little bit of EQ there. And that gets your slide sound across. You do need to kind of tailor it a little bit.